Got it.
Very good.
This is cause number 2021 CR 1478, the state of Texas versus Roshan Wagner. Attorneys, please make your announcements for the record.
Travis Rodriguez for the state of Texas.
Jason, it's for defense.
Mr. Wagner is appearing by video conference from the Bexar County Jail. Go ahead and tell me your full name, sir.
Roshan Demetrius Wagner Jr.
Mr. Wagner, you are charged by a true bill of indictment with the offense of credit card or debit card abuse. I am showing you on the screen the true bill of indictment that was filed in this case, alleged to have occurred September 23rd, 2021. Do you understand the charge you have?
Yes.
That's a state jail felony, and it is punishable by confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, but that's for confinement in the state jail facility for any period between 6 months and 2 years confinement. It also carries a fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand the range of punishment that applies?
Yes.
You have the right to a jury trial. You have the right to cross-examine the witnesses against you. You also have the right to remain silent. Those are your constitutional rights. Do you understand those?
Yes.
When you sign the defendant's waivers contained in this document, what you're telling me is that you want to give up those rights. Is that what you intend to do?
Yes.
Is this your electronic signature above the words Roshan Wagner?
Yes, it is.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, I am.
If you were not a citizen, I'm still required to tell you
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
that a plea of guilty or no contest to this charge could result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of
So
naturalization.
do you, ma'am.
Law. Mr. Wagner, are you satisfied with the representation of your attorney?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Nitz, does your client have a rational and factual understanding of the proceedings against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he been able to assist you in the preparation of any defenses?
He has.
In your opinion, is he mentally competent to waive his rights and enter into a plea?
He is.
I will accept the waiver of rights and make it part of the record. Mr. Wagner, on the screen, I have
My
the,
name is Faustino Guerra the third.
I couldn't hear you. Your voice broke up.
the
Excuse me?
guy next to you is very loud. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you. And I'm gonna ask that you unmute yourself and you're gonna answer me, okay?
Okay.
On the screen, I have the agreement that you made in this case. It calls for 180 days confinement in the state jail facility, no applications for probation, and the state will dismiss the criminal mischief. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, I believe so, but I think my lawyer was gonna ask for something else, but I'll let that go first.
How long-
Tell me,
He's been a trustee where we asked that,
Okay.
find that he is eligible for the 80/20.
So the 80/20 credit, I give, it's for diligent participation. So when you get to state jail facility, if you diligently participate in any of their courses or treatment programs, for every day that you participate, they send me a request to give you that credit, and I do. If you diligently participate, I give you credit for every day you participate. That 20% time is shaved off at the end, so you have to get to the 80% first.
At this point, he's at 152 days, and he's been a trustee
For 3 months.
for 3 months.
So this is not a Bexar County jail sentence. This is a state jail sentence. So
because, first of all, I am trying.
the coordinator from TDC will get your pen packet and they will determine your release date. So it could be that by the time they get it, you're eligible for release. But that happens internally at the jail. I don't order anything. I just give you the credit for the time you've been in custody.
So will I go there? I kind of understand what you're saying. This is just another question. Would I have to go there and serve an additional 6 months?
I even wrote to.
No.
Judge,
Okay.
Judge, I wrote to you.
Yes. All right. Is that your understanding otherwise, Mr. Wagner? Can you unmute yourself for the
I
record?
want to be there.
Yes, I
to
understand.
my land like that.
Is that your agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, that's the agreement.
Okay. State, is that your agreement?
It is the state's understanding, Your Honor.
What is your plea, Mr. Wagner, to the charge of credit or debit card abuse?
I have all this,
For no
I have this plan.
No
that I've been doing
contest.
since day
Are you entering a plea of no contest because you have talked about this matter with your attorney and you do believe this is in your best interest to do so?
years old.
Yes.
I'm 47.
Freely and voluntarily?
Yes,
I don't have
voluntarily.
no drugs.
Anyone forced you to enter a plea?
No.
Just a little, I just little.
Anything in exchange for your plea?
I
No.
don't have.
I will accept your plea of no contest. I do find the plea is voluntarily made, and I will ask the state to tender its proof.
State has attached exhibits by way of the preferred Adobe sign format, as well as forwarded some exhibits to the court by way of email. I attached opposing counsel to said email, and included in that email also is a statement from the submitting law enforcement agency that comports with Texas Code of Criminal Procedure section 2.1397B. All of that said, state now offers into evidence State's Exhibit 1 and all of its attachments, pending any objections.
No objections.
Next one is admitted, and the attachments. Mr. Nitz, are you satisfied that the state complied with Article 3914 in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will sign the discovery acknowledgement and make it part of the record. Give me just a minute, please.
I'm gonna tell her I gotta go, shawty.
Let's go back on the record, please. I do find the evidence is sufficient to substantiate your guilt, Mr. Wagner, and I will find you guilty of the offense of credit or debit card abuse as alleged in the indictment. I will sentence you to 180 days
Since I was a kid.
jail facility. You do get credit for the time you have been in custody on this case. This is a plea bargain case, Mr. Wagner. I do find, so you do not have a right to appeal. I apologize. Do you understand that?
No,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You're excused. Thank you, Mr. Ness. You're excused.
Thank you.
I'm also signing the dismissal on the misdemeanor. Ryan Wolf is next. Has he been sworn?
He has, Judge.
Let's go on the record, please. It's a one-count ag robbery.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Gebbia, you ready?
Is that my plea, Judge?
Yes.
Yes, I'm ready, Judge.
Mr. Wolf, can you hear me okay?
yeah, boss.
Yes, I can.
This is cause number 2021 CR 7907, the state of Texas versus Ryan Wolf. Attorneys, please make your announcements for the record.
Denise Harrison for the state of Texas, Your Honor.
Robert Gebbia for Mr. Wolf.
Mr. Wolf is appearing by video conference from the Bexar County Jail. Go ahead and tell me your full name, sir.
Ryan Christopher Wolf.
On the screen, I have the true bill of indictment. It alleges the offense of aggravated robbery. Do you understand the charge that you have?
Yes, Your Honor.
An aggravated robbery is a first-degree felony, and it is punishable by confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. The institutional division for any period between 5 to 99 years or life imprisonment and up to a $10,000 fine. And that range is in this document I have on the screen.
So I'm good to go back to my dorm then?
I'm sorry, it broke up at the end.
I know, I'm going to start over. Hang on.
4, 5. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a little noisy in your room, but I think we can still get through it. I had explained to you the range of punishment. Did you hear that part, Mr. Wolf?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So do you understand the range of punishment as I explained it to you?
Yes, I do.
You have the right to a jury trial. You have the right to cross-examine the witnesses against you. You also have the right to remain silent. Those are your constitutional rights. Do you understand those?
Yes, I do.
When you sign the document that I have on the screen, what you're telling me is you're going to give up those constitutional rights. And I apologize. I did explain those to you, right? You understand those constitutional
Yes,
rights?
Your Honor. Yes,
So
Your
do you
Honor.
understand that by signing the defendant's waivers of constitutional rights, what you're doing is you're giving up those rights? Is that what you intend to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this your electronic signature here at the bottom?
Yes, it is.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, I am.
If you are not a citizen, I'm still required to tell you that a plea of guilty or no contest to this charge could result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Wolf, are you satisfied by the representation of your attorney?
Yes, yes, I am.
Mr. Gibbia, does your client have a rational and factual understanding of the proceedings against him?
Yes, he does, Your Honor.
Has he been able to assist you in the preparation of any defenses?
Yes, he has, Your Honor.
In your opinion, is he mentally competent to waive his rights and enter into a plea?
Yes, I believe that he is competent, Your Honor.
I will accept the waiver of rights and make it part of the record. Mr. Wolf, I want to go over this plea bargain agreement with you, and then I want you to tell me if this is.
I'll go back to the room.
Can you tell them to keep it down?
The journal to the issue with the work.
Mr. Wolf, unmute yourself. Let me see if the noise went down. Yeah, I think we're good to. Okay, so the plea bargain in this case, Mr. Wolf, calls for a recommendation of deferred adjudication for a period of 8 years. There's a $1,500 fine, an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, which I don't make on deferred cases. Restitution to be determined through the community supervision office, but it looks like there's a $2,000 amount of restitution already on there. No contact order with Jacob Barrios, TAP evaluation and follow the recs, 200 hours community service, weekly UAs. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Mr. Gibbia, is that your understanding,
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
including the restitution?
Yes, I spoke to Denise Hairston about the restitution. There was some damage to a vehicle that was taken.
Okay, Ms. Hairston, is that your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is your plea to the charge of aggravated robbery? Is it guilty, not guilty, or no contest, Mr. Wolf?
Guilty.
Are you entering a plea of guilty because you are guilty and for no other reason?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone forced you to enter a plea of guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone offered you anything in exchange for your plea of guilty?
No, Your Honor.
I will accept the plea of guilty. I find the plea is voluntarily made, and I will ask the state to tender its proof.
State's Exhibit 1 with attachments, Your Honor, along with the discovery announcement form, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Gibbia, are you satisfied the state complied with Article 3914 in this case?
I am, Your Honor, and we've executed the discovery acknowledgement.
I will sign it and make it part of the record. Give me just a minute, please. Did they remove it? Let's go back on the record, please. I do find the evidence is sufficient to substantiate your guilt, Mr. Wolf.
Okay.
I will make no other findings at this time. I will grant the application for deferred adjudication for a period of 8 years, $1,500 fine, restitution in the amount of $2,000, no contact order with Jacob Barrios. We're going to do a TAP evaluation and follow the recommendations, 200 hours of community service. State and defense, was it, and I apologize, weekly UAs until the results of the TAP are back. But did you intend to have the TAP while he's on bond or in custody?
I was planning while he's in custody, but we did not discuss it. It's up to the court's discretion.
Mr. Gibbia?
I'm sorry, I missed the question, Judge. Somebody was banging on my door.
It's okay. Was it your intent to have the TAP done while in custody or on bond?
Well, he's just been sentenced, so bond would be over, right? He doesn't have anything else pending. Are you still anticipating coming back for a PSI or?
Not a PSI, but I can order the TAP while he's in custody. And
his hope is to be released and start his probation and do the TAP evaluation out in the world. He has been in custody for a pretty significant amount of time, I think since at least August. So it's
since June 8th.
Okay, I'll release him. But if you don't show up for the TAP evaluation, Mr. Wolf, then you'll just have to come back into custody. So,
Yes, Your Honor. I appreciate that. Thank you.
this is a plea bargain case. I did follow the plea bargain agreement. You do not have a right to appeal. You're going to go into a breakout room with probation, and she's going to get you your conditions and give you instructions on how to report.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, Ms. Hairston.
Judge, is there any way we could do Ramon next? I have to pick my kids up in a little bit for a visit. So if we could be next, then I can finish and then go.
No problem.
Thank you.
She's sworn.
Yes, she is, Judge.
So I have the waiver case for burglary of Ahab on the information. And then I have the arson case. So 2 second-degree felonies. And then I also have 2 dismissals. Is that correct? 2 pleas, 2 dismissals.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Ramon, go ahead and unmute yourself. After that, I only have Chapa and Carpenter left. Is that correct?
That sounds correct to me, Your Honor.
Yes, that's correct.
Did you say Sandra Ramon? I'm just getting back here, Judge.
Yes, I'm gonna call it. Where did you go hide, David?
Oh, I'm just in the other room, hiding. Yeah, I don't know. Nowhere. I wish.
You're so funny. But you're brutally honest, which is why I like to get after.
Yeah, sometimes it gets me in trouble at home.
I heard you have a new associate or something.
I do. Real honored to have Mr. Tom Nisbet here. He's learning this side of things. People are not jumping and doing what he said the way that he thought it was going to happen. So it's kind of funny. I like watching that. Now he's real skilled, and I think he's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's funny that I asked or recruited or asked or got him out in the office right as jury trials are opening back up, and I have a bunch of stuff set. It's interesting timing.
Yeah. So now you have one ready to jump on.
Yes, I see Gretchen's eyes. I'm trying to see your eyes, Gretchen.
You're trying to read her.
I'm trying to read her. Keep your
If
camera
you can
on,
see
Gretchen.
my face, then you can read me.
No, I'm kidding. He's doing great. So thanks for asking.
Okay, so let's go on the record on Sandra Ramon. Ms. Ramon, I'm going to call your cases, and this is how we're the range of punishments is the same. And then all the rest of the questions apply to both cases. So when I ask you a question, just know I'm asking for both cases. This is cause number 2021 CR 5945 and 2022 CR 1718W. The state of Texas versus Sandra Ramon. Attorneys, please make your announcements for the record.
Gretchen Plater for the state.
David Christian for Ms. Ramon.
Ms. Ramon is appearing by video conference from the Bexar County Jail. Ms. Ramon, go ahead and tell me your full name.
Sandra Ramon. Sandra Gabriel Ramon Salazar.
Okay, so we're going to start with the indicted case. You have an indictment in this court. It alleges the offense of arson alleged to have occurred on November 24th, 2020. Do you understand the charge of arson that you have?
Yes, I do, Judge.
Okay, so then you also have a burglary of a habitation that is not indicted, but we're going to proceed on an information. So information takes the place of the indictment. Before we get started on the information, what I want to go over is this document that I have on the screen. It's called the Waiver of Indictment, Reading of Information and Rights. Do you understand this document that I have?
I do, Your Honor.
In every felony case, you have the right to have your case presented to a grand jury. The grand jury reviews the evidence and they decide if they're going to deliver an indictment. They deliver that indictment, you, as the person accused in that indictment, have 2 days to review it, and you also have 10 days to prepare for trial. When you sign this document called the Waiver of Indictment, what you're telling me is you're going to skip that process. You're going to give up your rights to the grand jury. Is that what you intend to do this afternoon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your electronic signature above the word Sandra Ramon, defendant.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I will sign the Waiver of Indictment and reading of information and rights and make it part of the record.
Thank you.
Now, the charge of burglary of a habitation and the charge of arson are both second-degree felonies. Hang on. They're both second-degree felonies. They are punishable by confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the Institute Division, for any period between 2 and 10 years, 2 and 20 years confinement. They also carry a possible fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand the range of punishment that applies to both of these charges?
I do, Your Honor.
Hang on, I lost my, okay, there we go. So Ms. Rummel, and the unindicted case, the waiver case, 2022 CR 1718W, is this your electronic signature here at the bottom?
It is, Your Honor.
And in the indicted case for arson, is this your electronic signature here at the bottom?
That is correct.
In both of these cases, you have the right to a jury trial. You have the right to cross-examine all the witnesses against you, and you have the right to remain silent. Those are your constitutional rights. You understand those?
I do, Your Honor.
Sign both of those documents where I indicated to you what you're telling me is you're going to give those rights up in both of those cases. Is that what you intend to do today?
Correct, Your Honor.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
If you are not a citizen, I'm still required to tell you that a plea of guilty or no contest to this charge could result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Rummelin, are you satisfied with the representation of your attorney?
I am, Your Honor.
Mr. Christian, in both of these cases, are you satisfied that your client has a rational and factual understanding of the proceedings against her?
I am, Judge.
Has she been able to assist you in the preparation of any defense?
She has, Your Honor.
In your opinion, is she mentally competent to waive her rights and enter into a plea?
Yes, ma'am, I believe she is.
Accept the waiver of rights and make it part of the record. Ms. Ramon, let's go over the plea bargain agreement in your cases. I'm going to start with the arson case, the case that ends in 5945. The punishment agreement is for 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. No fine, no applications for probation. It'll run concurrent with the burglary of Ahab. And the state is going to dismiss 1 felony and it looks like 1 misdemeanor. Is that your understanding of the agreement in this case?
It is, Your Honor.
Let's move on to the burglary of Ahab. The agreement appears to be the same. 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, no fine, no applications, concurrent with the arson, and the state will dismiss the 2 same cases. Is that your understanding of the agreement in this case?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, starting with this case, the burglary of a habitation ending in 1718W. What is your plea? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
And in the arson case, cause number 5945, what is your plea? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Are you entering a plea of no contest in both of these matters because you have talked about your situation with your attorney and you believe that entering into this plea is in your best interest?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Are you doing this freely and voluntarily?
I am, Your Honor.
Has anyone forced you to enter a plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone offered you anything in exchange for your plea?
No, Your Honor.
I will accept the plea of no contest in both matters. I do find that they are voluntarily made, and I will ask the state to tender its proof.
It offers States Exhibit 1 and its attachments.
No objections.
States 1 is admitted. Mr. Christian, are you satisfied the state complied with Article 3914 in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Both of the cases, I apologize.
Yes, I am.
I will sign the discovery acknowledgement and make it part of the record. Okay, give me just a minute, a few minutes to read, and I'll sign the dismissals as well. Get ready to go back on the record. Doesn't sound like you were sober, Miss, when all of this went down.
I was fine, yes.
I know, I can tell. All right,
Sorry.
let's go back on the record. I do find that the evidence is sufficient to substantiate your guilt. Let's start with 2021 CR 5945. I will find you guilty of the offense of arson as alleged in the indictment. I will sentence you to 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the institutional division. You do get credit for the time you have been in custody on this case.
Thank you.
This will also run concurrent with 2022 CR 1718W. This is a plea bargain case. I did follow your plea bargain agreement. You do not have a right to appeal. I already signed the dismissals that were part of this plea bargain. In cause number 2022 CR 1718W, I do find the evidence is sufficient to substantiate your guilt, and I will find you guilty of the offense of burglary of a habitation. I will sentence you to 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the institutional division. You do get credit for the time that you have been in custody on this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This will run concurrent with 2021 CR 5945. This is a plea bargain case. Also, I followed your plea bargain agreement. Ms. Ramon, you do not have a right to appeal. You understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, David, good to see you. Papa and Carpenter, we start filling up all that paperwork. How are you, Tovar? Doing well, thank you. We're gonna do Chapa first and then Carpenter.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
Hi, Salon. How are you?
I just let you know that Janet is all over the request. Take care of it.
Janet takes care of this. I tell you what.
I know. Surprised what you can do for $100 a day.
Mr. Cepeda, I'm going to do Carpenter first because I have one plea on the fraudulent use or possession, and then I have several dismissals. I actually have 4 dismissals. One actually.
I think it's 3, Your Honor. There are 2 other cases that are not yet filed that I will ICR this afternoon within the hour.
Yeah, so 3 dismissals and 1 plea on the 3rd degree fraudulent use or possession. Right?
I'm sorry, what was the last part of fraudulent use possession, Judge?
Hang on. Mr. Cepeda's not in his chair.
Oh.
We'll wait for him, but I guess Mr. Dawes, we can do yours since Mr. Cepeda's not there.
Yes, we're ready, Judge.
State is ready as well, Judge.
Yeah, let's go on the record on Chapa. Chapa, if you could please make sure that you're in a spot where you can sit down and hear me and take care of this first.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, I don't have to rush. Let's go on the record, please. This is cause number 2021 CR 2135, the state of Texas versus Chris Chapa. Attorneys, please make your announcements for the record.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. On behalf of the state of Texas, Joshua Luke Sandoval.
Sean Keen-Dawes for the defense.
Mr. Chapa is appearing by video conference. Go ahead and tell me your full name, Mr. Chapa.
Chris Chapa.
On the screen, I have the true bill of indictment that was filed in this case, Mr. Chapa. It alleges of continuous sexual abuse of a child. In count 1 and sexual assault of a child in count 2. State, how are we going to proceed?
Your Honor, we move to waive and abandon count number 1 and proceed only on count number 2, sexual assault of a child.
No objection, Your Honor.
Count 2 is a second-degree felony, and it is punishable by confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the institutional division, Mr. Chapa, for any period between 2 and 20 years confinement. It also carries a possible fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand the range of punishment that applies to this charge in count 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to a jury trial. You have the right to cross-examine the witnesses against you. You also have the right to remain silent. Those are your constitutional rights. Do you understand those?
Yes, Your Honor.
When you sign the document I have on the screen called the Waiver of Defendants' Rights, what you're telling me is you're going to give up those rights. Is that what you intend to do today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this your electronic signature here at the bottom above the words Chris Chapa?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are not a citizen. I'm still required to tell you that a plea of guilty or no contest to this charge could result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Chapa, are you satisfied with the representation of your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dawes, does your client have a rational and factual understanding of the proceedings against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he been able to assist you in the preparation of any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in your opinion, is he mentally competent to waive his rights and enter into a plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll accept the waiver of rights and make it part of the record. Mr. Chapa, on the screen, I have the plea bargain agreement in this case. It calls for a cap of 15 years to due. That's an opposed application for deferred. $2,000 fine, no contact with Cadence, Dawn. Chapter 62 compliance. So basically, you're going to return after we perform a few evaluations, and you're going to return in person. And the decision about whether or not this is a probation case or a prison case is being left up to me. Is that your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
In no event under the plea bargain could I exceed 15 years. So if it's a prison case, it wouldn't be more than 15 years. If it's deferred, it could be up to 10 years. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and I'm going to tell you for purposes of the record that if you don't appear for sentencing or if you reoffend from now until the time that we are waiting for the sentencing evaluations, then I will not go along with this plea bargain. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dawes, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, is that your understanding?
It is, Judge.
What is your plea to the charge of sexual assault in count 2? Is it guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, Your Honor.
Are you entering a plea of no contest because you've talked about this legal matter with your attorney and you believe that entering into this plea is in your best interest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you doing this freely and voluntarily?
Voluntary.
Well, I'm asking if you're doing it both freely and...
But yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone forced you to enter a plea?
No, Your Honor.
Or offered you anything in exchange for your plea?
No, Your Honor.
I will accept the plea of no contest to count 2. I do find the plea is voluntarily made, and I will ask the state to tender its proof.
Judge, at this time, state offers into evidence exhibit number 1.
No objection, Your Honor.
This one is admitted. Mr. Dawes, are you satisfied the state complied with Article 3914 in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will sign the discovery acknowledgement and make it part of the record. Give me just a few minutes, please. What are we looking for, Ashley, in terms of a PSI date?
$331, Judge.
That's your in-person hearing date, Mr. Chapa, March 31st. So give me a minute to read the exhibits. Let's go back on the record, please. I do find the evidence is sufficient to substantiate your guilt. I will make no other findings at this time, Mr. Chapa. I will see you back here in person, March 31st, 2022. For now, you need to go into a breakout room so you can talk to my probation officer and get you started on the evaluation. So I want a PSI and a test.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're excused.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. We'll see you soon, Mr. Doss.
Yes, thank you.
Paul Carpenter. Is he sworn in? Mr. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes. Thank you, Josh.
See y'all tomorrow.
You have to go into the breakout room.
So do I hit leave?
No, you hit join breakout room. Go to the three dots where it says more.
Oh, okay. Chat meeting minimize, raise hand.
You see join breakout rooms or breakout rooms?
No, Your Honor. I just see chat one, meeting settings, minimize meeting background and filters, and disconnect audio and raise hand. That's all I see.
Are you on a phone?
Yes, ma'am.
You should have got a pop-up right now.
Okay, well, hang tight. I need to take this other. Trying to find a way to get to the breakout room.
Yeah.
Mr. Carpenter, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Cepeda, I was asking earlier when I called your case, but you weren't at your seat. It's just one plea to the fraudulent use or possession. Is that correct?
Sorry, I'm not hearing you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Judge. I didn't hear you either, Your Honor.
Okay, so I was asking if it's just the plea to the fraudulent use or possession, and then I have 3 dismissals.
That is correct, Judge. It's one plea on cause number 2021 CR 9518, and it's going to be on paragraph A to waive and abandon paragraphs B and C. It includes 3 dismissals, Judge. One of those is a misdemeanor and 2 would have been felony cases. I don't believe they were unindicted cases.
All right, let's go on the record, please, David. Can you see that document, Mr. Carpenter?
Yes, ma'am.
This is cause number 2021 CR 9518, the state of Texas versus Paul Edward Carpenter. Attorneys, please make your announcements for the record.
Yes, Your Honor. Luis Echeverria for the state of Texas.
Rodolfo Cepeda for Mr. Carpenter, Your Honor.
Mr. Carpenter is appearing by video conference from County Jail. Go ahead and tell me your full name, sir.
Paul Edward Carpenter, ma'am.
On the screen, I'm showing you the true bill of indictment that was filed in your case. It alleges the offense of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information, 5 to 9 items. Well, it's 5, but less than 10 items. And that is alleged in all counts, Part A, Part B, and Part C. State, how are we going to proceed?
Your Honor, the state seeks to proceed on Part A alone and waive and abandon Parts B and C.
Going over with you.
Mr. Carpenter, Part A of the indictment, or count 1, or whatever you want to call it, is a 3rd-degree felony, and it is punishable by confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the institutional division, for any period between 2 and 10 years confinement. It also carries a possible fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand the range of punishment that applies?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the right to a jury trial. You have the right to cross-examine all the witnesses against you. You also have the right to remain silent. Those are your constitutional rights. Do you understand those?
Yes, ma'am.
When you sign the waiver of rights in this document, what you're telling me is you want to give up those rights. Is that what you intend?
Correct, ma'am.
Is this your electronic signature here at the bottom? Right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it is.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not a citizen, I'm still required to tell you that a plea of guilty or no contest to this charge could result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Carpenter, are you satisfied with the representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cepeda, does your client have a rational and factual understanding of the proceedings against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he been able to assist you in the preparation of any defenses? I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
He has, Your Honor.
In your opinion, is he mentally competent to waive his rights and enter into a plea?
Yes, ma'am. He's competent.
I will accept the waiver of rights and make it part of the record. Mr. Carpenter, I want to go over this plea bargain agreement with you. The recommendation for punishment is 30 months confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, no applications for probation. This will run concurrent with, it looks like, a misdemeanor assault, bodily injury, married or cohabitating, and the agreement is that that case will be JSAT, or judgment satisfied. The state is going to dismiss 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases in consideration of this plea. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am. It's 4 and then one, or no, it's 5. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I count 5.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
5. So 5 are going to be
Yeah, I know it's crossed.
and then if one of them you will have to plead to, a 6th case, what you'll have to plead to, but you will be satisfied on that one. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cepeda, is that your understanding?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Echeverria, is that your understanding?
It is, Your Honor.
What is,
Your Honor, I have a question. They didn't tell me anything about my back time, if I get my back time or not.
you do, you get it by law. Yes.
Okay. Already. So I'll get the 3 days that I was before I bonded out, and then I'll get the month I've been here now?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
What is your plea to the charge of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information, 5 to 10 items? Is it guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Are you entering a plea of no contest because you have talked about this matter with your attorney and you believe it's in your best interest to do so?
I believe it's in best interest to do so. I talked to my attorney about it.
Okay. And are you doing this freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone forced you to enter a plea
No, ma'am.
or offered you anything in exchange for your plea?
No, ma'am.
I will accept the plea of no contest. I do find the plea is voluntarily made, and I will ask the state to tender its proof.
The state offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments to include an email, Judge, that includes the evidence to State's Exhibit 1. That email was sent out at 3:47 p.m. and I courteously copied Mr. Cepeda. And of course, the state does this with pending any objection by Mr. Cepeda.
No objections, Your Honor.
Case 1 is admitted. Mr. Cepeda, are you satisfied the state complied with Article 3914 in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
I will sign the discovery acknowledgement and make it part of the record. Give me
Judge?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I was on bond when I got the 2 new charges, and I was here like I think a week or 2 weeks, and then they took my bond. But will I still get back time for the time that I was here before they revoked my bond?
Every single day you've been in custody while this case has been pending. So yeah, we'll get a count. Hang tight.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Let's go back on the record, please. I do find the evidence is sufficient to substantiate your guilt. Mr. Carpenter, I will find you guilty of the offense of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information. 5 items, but less than 10 items. State, what is his criminal history?
Your Honor, he has been sentenced twice before, both times on state jails. One was a fraud, use, possession under 5 items. He was sentenced to 9 months, and that was in June of 2018. So similar to this case, but less than 5. And then on that same day, he was sentenced concurrently on a possession less than a gram. And then last year, I'm sorry, in 2019, in September of 2019, he was sentenced to 8 months on a UMV. He's had some other cases, Judge, but nothing that he was sentenced on previously of a felony nature. He's been sentenced on 1 misdemeanor.
So what are the prior penitentiary trips? It all sounds like state jail.
Judge, as far as penitentiary trips in Bexar County, there are none that I'm aware of. Okay. I don't have the hard file, Your Honor, so I don't know if he's got anything outside, but based on the indictment, Judge, the way the charging instrument was indicted, it would seem to me he does not have anything out of Bexar County, at least not of a felony 3 or higher, because he's not noted in the indictment as a repeater or habitual. So I don't have the hard file, so I can't speak to whether he's been sentenced to something of a 3rd, 2nd, or 1st degree outside the county. In this county, again, he's not been sentenced on other cases other than the state jail felonies.
Okay. Having found you guilty, Mr. Carpenter, I'm going to sentence you to 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the Institutional Division. You do get credit for the time you have been in custody on this case. It's going to run concurrent with JN 2047911. That the agreement is that case will be JSATted. The dismissals that were submitted to me in consideration of this plea, I have already signed and made part of the record. This is the plea bargain case. I did follow your plea bargain agreement. You do not have a right to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. You said 2 years?
Yes, I'm doing 2 years.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Your excuse. So, Mr. Cepeda, are you on the misdemeanor case also?
I'm on the one that has a case number. That one that JSAT does not have a case number that I'm aware of.
Is it even filed, state?